Morning po to all our viewers. So, today we will be having our 33rd webinar series and we will be discussing about food safety. So, our guest speaker is a science research specialist too from the Technology Diffusion Science and Technology Services Division of FNRI. She is a registered nutritionist dietitian who finished her bachelor's degree in nutrition at UP Los Baños. She also finished her master's degree in applied nutrition in UP Los Baños. On top of these, she serves as a part-time instructor at Centro Escolar University and is involved in nutrition communication, research, and training. Ladies and gentlemen, to discuss the topic food safety at home, let us all welcome Ms. Czarina Teresita S. Martinez.
Morning! We will now start with our session on safe food at home. Gaano ba ka-importante ang safe food para sa atin? In all my lectures, the audience would always say 100%. Kasi naman, kapag hindi safe ang ating pagkain, pwede itong mag-cause sa atin ng pera, dahil mau-hospital tayo, mag-cause ito sa atin ng magde-drain ito sa atin ng ating energy. O kaya, meron pang mga instances na nagko-cost ito ng ating lives. So, food safety is very important, especially in the home. Now, let's go to slide number 2. Ano ba ang food? What does food mean? Sabi ng Codex Alimentarius, food is any substances, whether processed, so ito yung ating mga canned goods, canned foods, ito din yung ating mga bottled foods, nakalagay yung ating mga jams o ating mga sardines. These are the processed foods. Semi-processed, you are cut up vegetables, cut up meat na minarinate natin, or yung mga raw, which is intended for human consumption. To continue, slide number 3, food also includes drink. So ito yung ating water, flavored water, juices, and it also includes chewing gum and any substances. Oops, ano tong any substances na to? Ito yung mga ingredients natin that we use in the manufacture and preparation or treatment of food. Like for example, our baking soda is also part of the food because it improves the quality of our cakes. Yung salt then is also part of food kasi nagbibigay ito ng lasa. So, what is safe food? It is the assurance that food will not cause harm to the consumer when it is prepared and eaten according to its intended use. Now, so food also means it's all condition and measure that is necessary during production, processing, storage, preparation, and distribution of food to ensure that food is safe, wholesome, and fit for consumption. So when does food safety start? It starts with production. Saan ba yung production? Sa farm pa lang, kailangan safe na ang ating pagkain. Sa ating mga fish pond, safe din ang pag-raise ng ating mga prawns, ng ating mga fishes, para dun pa lang nag-i-start ang food safety. Processing, ito yung if we will have to manufacture it, if we have to undergo canning, kailangan safe din yung in place din ang safety measure. Storage, kung saan natin ini-imbak ito. Yung preparation, pagdating natin sa kitchen, dapat i-observe din natin ang food safety and distribution sa ating pagsiserve ng pagkain. Okay, what is unsafe food? Unsafe food means that the food contains harmful germs, toxins, and chemicals, or it is considered to be contaminated and can make people ill. So, let's go to slide number 7. What does this mean? What does contaminant mean? It is a substance not intentionally added to food, but may be present because of production, manufacturing, processing, preparation, treatment, packing, transport, or holding of food as or a result of environmental contamination. So, hindi natin makokontrol yung unintended additional of these contaminants. Pero, hindi natin sakop yun. Pero, the good news is, makokontrol natin yan. So, what makes food unsafe? So, I will mention 3 hazards. One is the biological hazards. These are the invisible biological hazards. This includes bacteria, yeast, molds, and viruses. Now, let's go to an example. Yung microbiological hazard. Ano ba itong example na to? I'd like to give you an example which is Clostridium botulinum. This bacteria can grow and produce toxin which is highly poisonous in low-acid foods that are improperly canned and are heat-resistant. The symptoms are double vision, difficulty in speaking and swallowing, and can even cause death. Now, makikita natin kung yung canned goods na yan ay meron siyang Clostridium botulinum pag nagbabulge siya. Can you see that canned goods na nagbabulge? Pag may ganyan na yung canned goods, please don't open it because it might have Clostridium botulinum. And Clostridium botulinum is highly poisonous. Another microbiological hazard is Staphylococcus. Tingnan niyo. Pwede itong merong yung mga nagpe-prepare ng food, kapag meron silang open wound, they may be infected with Staphylococcus aureus. Pag nalagay yan sa pagkain natin at nakain natin yung mga pagkain na yon, ang symptoms na pwede nang mangyari sa atin ay nausea, vomiting, and abdominal cramps. Okay. Slide number 12. Yung microbiological hazard naman ng salmonella, palagi nating naririnig ito, kaya nagkaroon ng food poisoning dahil merong salmonella. Now, saan ba nanggagaling ang salmonella? Nanggagaling ito sa contaminated raw chicken egg species. Kaya madalas yung mga mayonnaise, yan ang nakakapagdala ng salmonella. Another one is Shigella. This produces toxins that can attack the lining of the large intestine. And it is common during the summer months and usually affects kids 2 to 4 years old. Another microbiological hazard that is common is Escherichia coli. Now, yung mga nagpe-prepare ng food, pag hindi kayo naghugas ng kamay ng mabuti, lalo na kung galing kayo sa CR, pwedeng contaminated ang ating kamay ng Escherichia coli. So, yung taong kakain ng mga pagkain meron nito, pwedeng magkaroon din ng bloody at saka diarrhea. Now, another hazard is Vibrio cholera. This may come from raw contaminated oysters, clams, and crabs. The symptoms are diarrhea and rice water stool, blood or mucus containing stools. Now, another hazard is hepatitis A. Hindi ito bacteria, ito naman ngayon ay virus. Now, saan to pwede manggaling? It may come from raw undercooked shellfish. Pwede din ang carrier natin yung nagpe-prepare ng food. Lalo na kung siya ay merong hepatitis A virus. So, kung meron tayong symptoms nito, please do not let your food worker work in the kitchen if he may have exhibit these symptoms. Yung symptoms ng hepatitis A, minsan sumasakit ang tiyan niya o kaya tea-colored urine. Pero yung makakakain ng food na contaminated with hepatitis A, ang symptoms nila ay weakness, fever, nausea, tea-colored urine, and jaundice. Yung namang visible biological hazard na pwedeng mapunta sa ating pagkain, ang example nito ay cockroach, flies, ants, and worms. So, we have the biological hazard. Now we go to slide number 18, which is the chemical hazards. Ngayon, itong chemical hazards na to, pwedeng mapunta to sa pagkain natin kung ang mga food workers hindi maingat sa pag-prepare. O kaya, hindi maganda ang pagre-raise ng ating chicken, ng ating pork sa farm pa lang. Remember, food safety starts during production. Hindi naman hindi naman bawal na maglagay ng additives. Like for example, food coloring. Kasi it enhances the color, it enhances the appearance of the food. However, if it is excessive, then it becomes a chemical hazard. Other chemical hazards are those not permissible additives that we may be adding to our food. Now, yung pesticides, herbicides, and antibiotic residue, this may come from our farm animals, from our vegetables, and that did not practice good manufacturing practices. And also, a chemical hazards na common sa ating household, yung cleaning chemicals. Lalo na kung hindi siya labeled at hindi natin alam na cleaning chemicals pala yon, nalalagay o nakocontaminate ang mga pagkain natin. Okay? So now let's go to slide number 19, which is the physical hazard. Yung physical hazard, hindi ganun ka-drastic ang effect sa atin, pero hazard pa rin siya. Ano ito? Yung twigs. Di ba minsan meron tayong nalalagay, kung nagluto tayo ng malunggay, yung malalaki ng twigs, hindi na dapat kasama yon sa pagkain. Pero minsan hindi tayo maingat, so nalalagay natin yung mga twigs na yon. And isa pa, yung hair strand. Di ba? Madalas may experience tayo na, whoops, bakit may buhok dito sa kanin ko? Wala siyang drastic effect sa atin, but still, it is a physical hazard. The buttons, kung hindi maganda ang pagkakasursi niyan sa ating mga damit, at minsan pwedeng mahulog yan sa pagkain. So, it's a physical hazard. Yung broken glass, minsan, di ba, may nababasag sa kusina at hindi tayo maingat. At saka pag nabasag ang isang bote, hindi mo naman alam kung saan yan tatalsik. So, minsan, pwede yan mapunta sa ating pagkain. Another one is the jewelries. So, we encourage all our food service workers na dapat walang jewelry pagka nagpe-prepare ng food. Kasi baka malagay yung ating mga diamonds sa pagkain. Sayang naman, ano? At saka yung metal hazard, ito naman, pwedeng manggaling sa, minsan inopen natin na canned goods. Minsan meron diyang metal hazard na metals na pwedeng mapunta sa pagkain. Now, with all these hazards, how do we practice food safety in the home? So, these are some of the practical tips. I'll be sharing with you some practical tips para maging safe yung magkaroon ng food safety sa ating bahay. Unang-una, syempre, tingnan natin ang ating kitchen. Let us all clean our ceilings, walls, floors, and countertops. And then also, let us properly dispose our garbage. And also, when we dispose our garbage, kindly wash our garbage can with soap and water. And also, let's always use clean water whenever we are cooking. Now, sa food buying naman, ang tips naman natin sa safe food at home is, let us always read the label, particularly yung expiration date. Kung meron tayong canned goods sa bahay na expired na, wag na nating gamitin yon, wag na nating iluto. So, let us be very cautious dun sa expiration date. And also, let us buy from reputable stores or our trusted suki. And when buying also, let us buy dry good first, pag namamalengke na tayo, and yung first food last. Para short time lang yung kanilang wala sa proper temperature. And then, let's also choose quality food items. It is worth the price. Okay din naman bumili ng sale food, yung mga canned goods, lalo na nagsisales sila. Pero let's make sure na makakain natin ito before the expiration date. Another food safety tips, pag bumibili tayo ng canned goods, huwag tayong bibili ng canned goods that are DERB. What does the DERB mean? DERB, ibig sabihin nun, dented. Minsan, hindi maingat yung mga nagdi-display sa store, kaya ngayon nababagsak ang mga canned goods. Pag nagkaroon ng dents yan, pwedeng pasukan, pwedeng magkaroon ng pinholes. The pinholes, kayang-kaya na yan, pumasok ang mga microorganism that may contaminate our canned goods. Another one, yung E, expired. Tingnan nyo, na-produce ito ng November 21, 2012. At ang expiry date, according to the manufacturer, ay July 29, 2016. 2017 na po. Kaya wag na nating buksan itong canned good na ito. Another one is, let us not buy canned goods that are rusted. Minsan, hindi pa expired yung canned good na yon, pero may rust na siya. Wag na rin natin siyang bilhin because it may not, the food that is inside may be contaminated. Okay? Okay, another one is yung bulging. Kanina na-share ko na, ano nga yung bacteria pagka nagkakaroon ng bulging yung canned goods? It is Clostridium botulinum. So, these are highly poisonous, so please do not even open canned goods that are bulging. Kindly bury them and destroy them. Okay, ngayon pag natapos na tayong mamalengke, anong susunod? Siyempre, storage na yan, itatago na natin. So, yung ating pagkain, kindly store foods in shelves or in flat form whenever possible in tightly closed containers. Kasi meron tayong visible biological hazard, that is our ants, our cockroaches. Minsan di natin mapigilan, binibisita nila ang ating cupboard. So, sana meron silang mga takip. At saka always practice first in, first out. Kung anong una mong nabiling canned goods, yun ang una mong gamitin. Pero minsan may nabibili tayo na mag-e-expire na. So, first to expire, first out. And also, let us make yung ating storage, i-store natin ang food natin sa correct temperature. Yung dapat frozen, frozen. Yung dapat chilled, chilled lang. At tapos yung vegetable, nandun lang siya sa vegetable basket. Okay? Now, whenever we move on to preparation, when you are preparing food, please avoid using rusted or worn out utensils. Sa mga plato naman, iwasan natin yung may mga dent o kaya may mga basag, lalo na sa gilid. Huwag na natin gamitin yon because it's not safe for us. Also, in preparing food, always wash the vegetables and fruits thoroughly before slicing them. And when we are cooking meat, when you thaw frozen meat, do not soak it in water, lalo na kung walang plastic cover, i-soak natin sa water. Nawawala yung ibang mga vitamins niyan. What we do is put the frozen meat in a bowl and have it thawed in the refrigerator overnight or defrost it in a microwave. Sa food preparation din, maganda para maiwasan natin yung cross-contamination. Meron tayong iba't ibang chopping board at saka iba't ibang knives. Huwag nating gagamitin yung nagamit nating knife doon sa raw na gagamitin natin sa cook ng hindi hugas. Kasi doon magkakaroon ng food contamination or cross-contamination. Also, pag nagluluto tayo, meron tayong separate spoon for tasting. Huwag natin gamitin yung sandok para sa pagtikim ng ating mga pagkain. Okay, madami ba sa ating guilty doon? Okay. So, sana mayroon tayong handy spoon. I'm glad yung mga chef uniform, meron silang bulsa dito. Ang purpose pala nun is to put the temperature, thermometer and also yung tasting spoon. Okay? So, now, pagluto na tayo ng pagkain at may natira, pag nakapagluto na tayo ng pagkain, palagi nating panatiliin yung hot foods, nasa hot ang kanyang temperature. Yung cold foods natin, kagaya mga salads natin, nasa cold yung temperature niya. Okay? And then, pag meron namang natira, always put it in a container ng merong takip. That is to prevent contamination. Lalo na pag-store natin sa ref. Sana may mga takip ang mga lahat ng pagkain nilalagay natin sa ref. Kasi, minsan di natin maiwasan, may tumutulo sa ref. Pag may tumulo dyan, decontaminated na yung ating mga pagkain. Sa mga mommies naman na magpe-prepare ng baon para sa kanilang kids, sana yung ipapabaon natin sa mga anak natin ay thoroughly cooked. At saka po, yung cooked meals can stand sa room temperature to about 4 hours, yung tamang-tama ng lunchtime nila. So with that, ang take-home message ko po sa inyo, sana let's always heat food safety. Ano ba yung heat? Yung H, hugasan. Hugasan natin ng kamay bago tayo mag-prepare ng food. Hugasan natin ang ating vegetables and fruits bago natin siya hiwain. And then I, iluto natin sa tamang temperatura ang mga pagkain o kaya initin natin ang mga leftover foods bago natin to kainin. Sa tamang temperatura, pakuluin natin. And then yung T, lagi nating tatakpan ng ating pagkain para hindi dadapuan yan ng unwanted visitors. Okay, with that, I also would like to encourage you to eat clean and safe food because that is one of the messages of the nutritional guidelines for Filipinos. Marami pong salamat.
Alright, so thank you very much, ma'am. Ma'am Czarina, for the wonderful presentation. Actually, for some of us, since this is actually done at home, what you presented are some of the things that we do at home. Some of us are actually guilty of not practicing food safety, or sometimes we miss out on the practices of food safety. But we really should, because it's not only for our health, but also for our health of family and also of the people who will be eating the food that we prepare. So again, for all our viewers, please place your questions in the live chat. Kindly place them in the chat box at the right part of your screen. So before we start our question and answer portion, we would just like to remind all viewers that if you would like a copy of the presentation today and the certificate of participation, kindly fill out the evaluation form and kindly click the button on the upper right part of your screen. If it is not clickable yet or is disabled, please refresh the page. And once you evaluated our webinar today, you will be able to receive an electronic copy of the certificate of participation and the PDF version of the presentation. So we will be waiting for your questions in the live chat. But in the meantime, we have some questions now. So we will be reading them out loud. Okay, for our first question, what can you advise to those who do homemade processed meat such as tocino? How can they use food additives safely?
Okay. Oo nga. Ano yan? Minsan naglalagay tayo ng salitre para dyan. I would suggest, kung maglalagay tayo ng food additives, we consult ang food technologies. But you can do tocino without adding preservatives. Kasi naman, hindi naman yan masisira eh. A combination of pineapple juice, salt, and sugar will do. And then put it in the chiller. And then, magtatagal yan ng mga 2 overnight sa chiller. Yung lasa niya nandun na. Pero, kung gusto pa niyo magtatagal pa yan for 1 week, yung na-chill ninyong meat, No, ilagay niya yan sa freezer. And that will be good for about 2 weeks. So, kahit na walang salitre, when we're doing it at home, pwede tayong gumamit ng salt and sugar and acid like pineapple juice and calamansi and vinegar.
Right, so thank you very much. So there are alternatives for preserving our food and making a tocino. So another question again, what are the differences between best before and consume by?
Come again?
What are the differences between best before and consume by?
Okay. Yung best before, sinasabi nila na the food is best before such date. No? Ibig sabihin, when we say best before, we're talking about the quality of the food. Sinasabi nila, halimbawa, ang bibigay sa inyo example ay crackers. Nakalagay doon, best before January 1, 2017. January ano na ngayon? 25? Diba? O nalalampasan na niya yung best before date niya. Baka hindi na siya malutong. So, hindi na siya at its best quality. Yung consume by, we are talking of safety. Pag sinabing consume by this date, kailangan na-consume na siya ngayon. Pag hindi siya na-consume ngayon, baka meron ng microorganism na makapaminsala na yon. So, yung consume by, we're talking about food safety. Best before, we're talking about quality.
All right. So thank you very much, ma'am, for answering that question. And we have another question again. Okay. So this is from Wilmar June Elopre. So one of our viewers. The question is it true that after expiration date, there is an allowable grace period of 2 months for the people to safely eat that particular commodity? So, ito po ay common misconception na.
Actually, totoo yan. Kasi yung mga food technologists, sinasabi nila, best before. So, sinasabi nila, best before that date, di ba? Sinasabi kanina, pag sinabing best before, we're talking about the quality. Pero yung consume by, we are talking about food safety. So, talagang yung mga food technologies, pag nagsabi sila ng best before this date, meron silang allowance. So, pag kinonsume mo after that date, it's not at its best quality anymore. It may be safe, but it's not best anymore. So, ang take-home ko para sa ating lahat, huwag nating paabutin yung best before date, best consume by date. Dapat, bago yung date na yun, na-consume na natin yung food product na yun so we can get the best quality and a safe quality food. Okay?
Okay po. So, thank you for clarifying that because actually, it is a very common question when they are looking at the expiry date or the consume by portion of the label. So, thank you very much for answering that. And this actually is a simple question. Pwede pa po ba kainin ang food na slightly nagapangan ng ants?
Okay. O nga, no? Slightly lang naman nagapangan ng ants. O kaya minsan, wala pang 5 minutes. Pwede pa yan. Okay. Yung slightly nagapangan ng ants, kung matibay ang tiyan natin, baka pwede. Kasi talaga naman yung hydrochloric acid ng pH ng tiyan natin ay mababa. Pero, sana, kasi nakokontrol naman natin ito. So, sana hindi natin pagapangin ang mga langgam sa ating mga pagkain. Yun lang aking take home sa inyo.
Okay. So, thank you very much, ma'am, for answering that. And another question, this is from one of our viewers, Miss Karen Yango. So, is it true that a single hair strand is considered biological hazard than a physical hazard?
It's more of a physical hazard. Nakalagay yun sa physical hazard. Single strand ng hair is a physical hazard.
Okay. So, thank you very much. And another question is it still advisable to drink tap water or water from the faucet?
Okay. Kasi ang pipes natin minsan may mga butas. So, um, kung yung pipes na pinanggagalingan ng tubig natin, makikita natin safe talaga. Kasi ang ating Maynila, yung ating water system naman talaga na naglalagay sila na kina-chlorinate nila to para maging safe ang ating tubig. Ngayon, safe siya kung tuloy-tuloy ang daloy ng tubig. I sometimes drink yung water from the faucet na hindi pinakuluan. Pero, mas safe siguro kung papakuluan natin to. Kasi minsan, yung ating pipes, may mga pinholes yan na pwedeng pumasok yung, kasi minsan nadadaan yan sa kanal nadadaanan ng tubig kanal. So, siguro, i-boil na lang natin yung ating mga tubig. Kung sa faucet tayo kukuha, o kaya ipadaan natin sa filters. Meron naman tayong nabibili ngayon na portable filters na pwedeng makaharang o kaya makaalis ng mga bacteria contamination. But, the water system that the government is doing, naglalagay tayo ng treatment dyan for the water system to be safe.
Oh, so thank you again for answering that question. And again, we have another practical question po, because this is something that we always do at home. So,
Okay.
the question is, safe pa rin po ba yung leftover food na paulit-ulit na iinitin hanggang hindi nauubos, tapos ibabalik sa ref?
Okay. Kasi mga lutong Pilipino, no, friendly sa ganyan. Bakit ko sinasabing friendly yan? Ang adobo natin, di ba, lalong sumasarap kapag paulit-ulit natin kinakain, di ba? Another one is paksiw. Ang paksiw, habang tumatagal yan, talaga namang sumasarap. Ngayon, kung paulit-ulit na iniinit at saka binabalik sa ref, ang suggestion ko na lang ganito, di ba, nakatakip yung mga nakalagay sa container yan ng may takip. Initin natin yung mauubos natin para hindi siya pabalik-balik sa ref. Kasi nagkakaroon din ng hindi nagiging maganda na ang quality ng food natin kung pabalik-balik ang init at lamig. Aside from the quality, baka pwede na magkaroon din yan ng contamination. So, ang suggestion ko, initin lang natin yung kaya nating ubusin. Pero okay yan na paulit-ulit ang pagkain natin hanggat maubos.
Okay po. So, thank you po for answering that question. And another question, again from Wilmar June Elopre. The question is, does the FNRI label food additives in the Philippine markets as GRAS? Or
GRAS.
Generally recognized as safe?
Yes, kasi nakalagay yan sa sa FDA na lahat ng mga ingredients na gagamitin natin sa ating food processing ay generally regarded as safe. Ngayon, may mga nilalagay tayo na food additives, dapat nagko-comply din ang manufacturers sa what is the acceptable level. So, pag nagpa-test po kayo sa FNRI, tinitignan din po natin yan. At sinasabi natin na ilagay po natin ang ingredients ng lahat ng nakalagay doon sa food na yon in descending order.
Alright po. So, thank you po. And another question from one of our viewers, Miss Michelle Munoz. So, her question is it really not advisable not to eat eggs which is left overnight though it is properly stored in the refrigerator?
Eggs. Siguro kung yung egg na niluto ay hard cook, pwede naman kasi nasa shell pa yun Bakit naman hindi? Ang mahirap lang kung yung egg natin na niluto yung upside down, tapos hindi luto yung yolk, doon baka magkaroon ng baka kasi kung may salmonella, halimbawa yung egg, at niluto mo, di patay na yung salmonella, wala na yon. Pero halimbawa, hindi naluto yung egg na maganda, baka hindi na din siya advisable. So, kung ganun, sana lutuin nating mabuti kung egg.
Okay po. And another question from Miss Karen Yango. So, it was in the news last Sunday na dapat po ay expiration date na ang ginagamit instead of best before date. any update po?
Oo, tama yan. Tama ka doon. Kasi talagang inaano na ng FDA, gamitin niya ang term na yan kesa yung merong consume by kasi nalilito pa yung mga tao. Meron talagang advisory ang FDA dyan. Totoo yan.
Okay po. So, thank you po for answering that. And for our last question, which is from Ro Kuji Garido, again, the question is, what is the maximum time of storing foods, fish, meat, etc. inside the freezer or the refrigerator?
Okay. Actually, wala namang 6 months would be too long. 'Di ba? Yung ref natin hindi naman gano'n kalaki, no? Hindi naman siguro aabot ng 6 months. Pero kung talagang maganda ang refrigeration natin, mga pwedeng tumagal 'yan ng mas matagal pa do'n. Kaya lang baka yung quality hindi na gano'n kaganda. So, yung mga chicken natin dito sa Pilipinas, ang advice nga ng mga malalaking kumpanya dito, yung fresh chicken nila sana consume, pag binili niyo sa market, it is consumed 7 days para maganda yung quality ng chicken na iluluto ninyo.
Okay po. So, best to consume it
Sana
immediately.
makonsume yan ng
Oo.
within 7 days. Maluto at makonsume para best yung quality ng chicken na ating iluluto. Pero ang frozen, tatagal yan. Kung maganda ang freezing natin, tatagal pa nga yan ng more than 1 year. Kaya lang, baka hindi na ganun yung quality, magde-deteriorate din. Tapos, hindi naman ibig sabihin pag nasa ref, hindi na magkakaroon ng bacterial contamination. Pwede pa rin. Pag yung inyong giniling na green na, ay hindi na maganda ang quality niyan. Baka dapat itatapon na natin yan.
Okay po. So, thank you po for answering that. And another question, may humabol pong question tayo from Mr. Arnel Cruz. So, his question is, what is the proper temperature for a home refrigerator?
Okay. Home refrigerator, dapat sana yung ating ref, hindi yan tataas sa 4 degrees sana. Kasi bacterial contamination, pwede nang sana less pa doon sa pwedeng mga 2 ang temperature sa ref. Pero sa freezer, dapat 0 yan o kaya less than 0. Freezer kasi dapat nagyayelo talaga. So, para ma-maintain natin na solid yung solid frozen yung ating mga meat, dapat 0 degrees yan or lower. Pero yung chiller, pwede yan mga 2 degrees. Yung ref natin, hindi dapat tataas ng 4. Kasi pag 5, meron ng bacterial contamination na pwede mangyari doon. So, kailangan maganda din working ref natin. Okay?
Alright po. So, thank you very much for answering the last question. And for all our viewers who attended the webinar today, we would like to thank you for taking the time and listening to our webinar for today. So before we end, we would just like to remind again all of our participants that if you would like a copy of the presentation today and the certificate of participation, kindly fill out the evaluation form. You can see the button on the upper right part of the screen, and once you evaluated the webinar today, you will be able to receive an electronic copy of the certificate of participation and the PDF version of the presentation. So, if we have no more questions, again, we would like to thank Ma'am Czarina Teresita S. Martinez, SRS2 from the FNRI. So, maraming salamat po. And we would like to invite all of our viewers for today in the afternoon session of the webinar. We will be having a topic on disaster risk reduction and management. So, please stand by and we will be starting at 3 p.m. We would be starting at 2 p.m. for our afternoon session on disaster risk reduction and management. So thank you very much and have a pleasant day.
Thank you.